Celebrating the small wins helps you, 1, capture the moment, 2, it builds momentum, and 3, it helps offset those low points, especially when you're feeling invisible. What's going on? You're listening to episode 36 of the Perspective Podcast, and I'm your host, Scotty.D.Russell of Perspective Collective. This show is all about giving you a weekly encouraging push to pursue work that's important to you. And at the same time, I want it to also be a little boost to pull you out of those times where you feel invisible. This week's episode is about celebrating small wins. And if you're like me, I've been horrible my entire life of, when something goes good in life or I've accomplished something, I kind of just push it to the side and I'm already like pursuing what is next. And my eyes are always down the road instead of really living in the moment now and appreciating things. And maybe you can relate, maybe you don't, maybe it's just me, but it's important for me to kind of, it's therapeutic to talk about this stuff for me as I kind of see things that I need to work on, and maybe, as I work through and try to fix things going on in my life, that maybe it can help you too if you struggle with the same things. And that's why this episode is called Celebrate Small Wins and Keep Your Eyes on the Prize. You can find the show notes to this episode at perspective-collective.com/36. In 2016, I had one of the biggest career-shifting experiences, and which I vaguely remember. It was my second time ever public speaking, and this was in front of a packed house at Creative South. I'm talking about 600 to 800 people. It was a sold-out place. I'm not sure how many people were there at mine. I would just say minimum 600. Safe to say, I blacked out for the majority of my 45-minute talk as my nerves were at an all-time high. If you know me, I'm one to bring a lot of energy, and that's what I did that day. I brought a lot of energy, I was really vulnerable, and I shared a lot about me that many of you don't know. It's weird to say it, but I'm going to humbly say that when I got done, I got an unexpected standing ovation as the 9 a.m. opening slot. And a lot of the times that 9 a.m. slot could be considered the hangover spot. So I was just blown away. It was a truly incredible moment in my life, but sadly to this day, I can barely remember that moment. When I got home after Creative South, I immediately went to work on the next project I had lined up. That day was a huge win in my life, but I was so focused on what was next that I failed to take any time to enjoy and reflect on that moment, and honestly, it passed. It kind of haunts me, but on the positive side, that moment in my life made me realize that I've been horrible at celebrating wins in my life, big or small. And it's been really hard because I see people doing things at such a larger scale than what I'm doing. And in my mind, what I'm doing is just small potatoes compared to them. So I rob myself of any credit. I rob myself of enjoying these moments. So in my mind, it's like, there's something bigger I have to go after. Why it's good to be hungry and driven and persevere. You got to take moments to celebrate even the smallest wins. And I believe that celebrating the small wins helps you, 1, capture the moment, 2, it builds momentum, and 3, it helps offset those low points, especially when you're feeling invisible. I want to encourage you to see your small wins as milestones achieved while grinding towards the trophy. Keep your eyes on the prize, but give yourself some damn credit along the way. So first off, celebrating small wins helps capture the moment. I can't remember the wave of emotions I felt at Creative South, as that should have been easily one of the most recallable, happiest days of my life. And the only way I can slightly relive it is through photos that people shared with me, or due to my brother Terrence Tang of Tinlun Studio patching up some video and audio together so I can actually relive it a little bit. When you take the time to celebrate even a small win, you create another moment to pair with that feeling. It allows you to remember that timestamp in life where you had that victory, kind of an association, a memory with another memory. Small victories like selling a print online, or something big like landing a huge freelance gig. Find ways to celebrate these things, like maybe it's ordering pizza, like me and Emily like to order pizza if something good happened during the week. Or maybe you've been eyeing a pair of shoes for a while, you had some money saved up, you pulled a freelance gig, treat yourself. Or maybe just give yourself permission to relax and binge a whole day on Netflix. I'm not one to do that, but once in a while, you gotta give yourself a break so you don't burn yourself out. Give yourself some credit and find a way to remember that moment and capture it. Celebrating small wins builds momentum. When you string together a few small wins, it begins to not only build the momentum, but it also boosts your confidence. Think about those teams that catch fire leading up to the playoffs. I think of like the Packers a couple years ago when they won the Super Bowl after they had kind of a shitty season. But they rattle off some wins, they find a groove, and they end up getting the trophy. It's all about building that small momentum. Even the smallest wins on your end deserve some type of celebration or even a pat on the back to yourself. Don't take the good moments and small victories in your life for granted. They are pointing you in the right direction, and you can't rely on other people to notice it for you. It's your job to notice when these things are going right and to continue to go that direction and feed off of it and continue to build small wins and momentum. Number 3, celebrating small wins helps offset the lows. During those creative funks in your life when maybe you're feeling invisible, feeling insignificant, or find yourself comparing yourself to others, it's easy to forget how many great things you've accomplished in life, whether it be large or small. When you don't allow yourself to celebrate and remember small wins, it's easy to get caught up in those low moments. Doing this creates a breeding ground for that inner critic to thrive and run rampant. This critic makes you feel like you haven't accomplished shit in your life. However, the lows don't seem so low when you can string some small wins together. Having some attainable small wins, maybe something small like making sure you get your portfolio or your Behance updated, or just knocking out a blog post or knocking out a vlog episode. Small attainable goals, small attainable wins, they can help you snap out of that funk much quicker. Finally, just give yourself some credit. And I'm not just talking about you right now, I'm talking about me as well. But being a creative, it's not easy. As you and I, we're quick to compare ourselves to other people who are making way bigger waves than us. However, you've done some pretty amazing things on your creative path. Things you should be proud of. I'm giving you a verbal pat on your back right now. And I would hate for you to forget those moments because you didn't think they mattered. Celebrate all wins, especially if they're small. Keep your eyes on the prize and give yourself some damn credit already. If you're like me, celebrating wins isn't easy. Like me just getting this episode recorded and edited and kicked out, over the weekend, like that's a small win for me. And to me, that deserves some kind of celebration, whether it's just like a moment of, hey, good shit, dude. You kicked out another episode, keep the ball rolling, keep the momentum going, little things like that. And you'll find out by showing up each day, doing one big thing each day or one small thing that's going to get you to that trophy, that prize. And, living in the moment and understanding when you've done something significant that it's important. You don't have to go and boast about it. I'm believe in being humble, stay humble, as Terrence would say, or be humble, as Kendrick Lamar's new song would be. But it's important to realize that you are doing significant things on your creative path. That's just the point I'm trying to drive home. And that's the point that I'm trying to drive home with myself. If you're finding any value in these episodes, I'm just going to give you one call to action each week instead of 3 at the end. But if you're finding any value in these episodes, the best way, or one of the best ways you can give back to this show, is by leaving a positive review over on iTunes. If iTunes is the platform that you listen to, it doesn't take that long, and it really helps the show get discovered. It lets other people know the value that the show is bringing. And if you have any kind of recommendations, suggestions, or any kind of feedback, man, I am trying to make this show the best it's possible. Like, I'm no expert, so hit me up at Scotty@perspective-collective.com. I would love to hear what you have to say. I haven't been the best at announcing this yet, but I will be speaking at Weapons of Mass Creation, WMC Fest, in August. And I think there's early bird tickets for sale right now. They're dirt cheap. The lineup's going to be amazing. I can't wait to be a part of it. It's going to be a smaller, intimate setting over in Cleveland, Ohio. Go look that up, Weapons of Mass Creation, and get your tickets today. I can't wait to speak there. I can't wait to check what it's about. I've heard some really good things. I need to give a huge thank you to Nick Jenkins of Blookah for all the dope killer music that you hear on this show. He's got a new EP coming out soon, so I will be plugging that a lot here. But you can find more of his work over at soundcloud.com/Blookah. That's BLOOKAH. And as always, I need to just thank you so much for lending me your ears and the time out of your existence and being here with me right now when you could be doing something else. I can't tell you how much it means to me. And I want to encourage you to keep showing up, keep putting in the work, and keep creating. You got this.